Hi Cambridge class, soon to be Oxford class. Miss Hawke and I are so proud of you for doing the YouTube lessons right up to the last week. And we have got 5 English lessons and 5 maths lessons this week, and by the end of the week you'll know that you've worked your absolute socks off and you'll be ready and deserving of a 7-week holiday, and you can put your feet up, rest and have lots of fun. I absolutely love fractions and I absolutely love prepositions, and that's what we're going to be doing this week. I know how happy you are about this. Okay, let's get started. Today we are going to be adding fractions. Let's have a look at the first one. We have got 1/5 plus 3/5, and that equals 4/5. So if we have a chocolate bar split into 5 equal pieces, one of those pieces is 1/5, 3 of those pieces is 3/5, and altogether that equals 4/5 of the chocolate bar. So what about this one? 1/5 add 3/10. How would we work that out? Let's have a look in this context. Charlie eats 1/5 of the chocolate bar. Susie eats 3/10 of the chocolate bar. How much have they eaten all together? Well, I can see here that my chocolate bar is split into 10 pieces. If I think of the chocolate bar in 5 equal pieces, then I could draw the chocolate bar in 5 sections like this. 5 equal sections. And each of these sections represents 1/5. So Charlie eats 1/5 of the chocolate bar. This here equals 1/5 of the chocolate bar. And if I just look at the black pieces, these are tenths, because there's 10 pieces. So Susie eats 3/10 of the chocolate bar. I've got to colour in 3 of those tenths. So how much have they eaten altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and they represent tenths, so it's 5/10. And I know that 5/10 is the same as 1/2. Let's have a look at it as a bar model, because bar models are really helpful when we are working with fractions. So 1/5 plus 3/10. This one is going to be 1/5, and this one is going to be 3/10. So what have I got to do first? Well, with the first one, I have to split it into 5 equal pieces, and with the second one, I need to split it into 10 equal pieces. And now it's much, much easier. So 1/5 is 1 out of these 5 pieces, and 3/10 equals 3 out of these 10 equal pieces. Okay. But how can I think about adding them together? Well, if I also split this bar into 10, I can just work with tenths. So that 1/5 represents 2/10. So 2/10, add another one is 3/10, add another one is 4/10, add another one is 5/10, which we know is the same as 1/2. So what I had to do with the bar model was split them into the same number in the end, so that we had a common denominator. The denominator had to be the same, and we made it tenths. Let's have a look at this one. Have a go at adding them in the same way as what we've just looked at. You can draw yourself some bar models to help you. Okay, so I've got 1/3 here, and I need to add together 4/9. So this is 1 out of 3 equal pieces, so that's my 1/3. But how can I put this into ninths? Well, what I could do is split my thirds into 3 pieces, and now they're going to be in ninths. So I've got my 1/3, which is the same as 3/9. I need to add 4/9. So this is 1 of the 9ths, 2 of the 9ths, 3 of the 9ths, 4 of the 9ths. So how many 9ths do I have all together? So I've got my common denominator, which is 9. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9ths in total. Now I've got 1/6 add so many thirds equals 5/6. So what I'm going to do is draw a bar. I'm going to split my bar into 6ths. So 6 equal pieces. I've split my bar into half first. I'm going to split those halves into thirds, and that's going to make 6 altogether. So 1/6 is 1 out of 6 pieces, and that's this. I need to know what I add in thirds to make 5/6 altogether. Well, this here is 5/6. So 1/6 add how many sixths make 5/6? 1/6 add 4/6 equals 5/6. So 4/6 is what I added, but how many thirds is that? Well, if you notice, this whole bar here could be split into 3 sections. Let's do it now. So that's 1 section, that's 2 sections, and that's 3 sections. So if you notice, 4 bars coloured in is the same as 2/3. And look, 4/6 is the same as 2/3. If I divide the 4 by 2, I get 2. If I divide the 6 by 2, I get 3. So 4/6 is the same as 2/3. Well done if you got that one. Now look at this one. 3/12 add 1/2 add 2/12 equals what? Well, what I could do here is get a bar, and I could split it into half. So that is my half. What's a half the same as in 12ths? Well, if I split this into 12 equal pieces, that's 6 on this side and 6 on this side. So if I split them in half again, that's going to be thirds. Split each section in thirds. So it's going to be 6 altogether. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 sections, and I know that half is this much. As a half add a half equals the 12 pieces. So 6 sections, 6/12 is the same as 1/2. And I know that because if I multiply the 1 by 6, I get 6. If I multiply the 2 by 6, I get 12. So whatever you multiply the top by, you multiply the bottom by, and they are equivalent. So 1/2 is the same as 6/12. So I'm going to just colour in 6/12. So 1/2, 6/12, add 3/12, 1, 2, 3, add 2/12, 1, 2, equals how many 12ths altogether? It equals 11/12. Well done if you got that one. Now we've got a half, add a quarter, add an eighth. So if I draw myself a bar, if I split it in half, that's my half here, but I need to have quarters and eighths, so I can split them all into eighths. That's going to make it much easier. So if I split my halves into half again, I've got quarters. So I've got 4 quarters. Let me just make them a little bit more equal. So I've currently got quarters. If I split them in half again, I have got eighths. So if I colour in my half to start with, look, you can see if I split it into half, that's the same as 4/8. And then I can add 1/4 to that. So if I split this into quarters, into 4 equal pieces, you can see that that is 2 out of the 8 pieces. So 1/4 is the same as 2/8. So if I add 1/4 on and then 1 more eighth, then I have got 7/8 in total. Now you have a go at this one. 3/5 plus 7/10. Pause the video while you have a go. So already I've got 3/5 shaded in, and I'm going to add 7/10 to it. So I could split the fifths into 10 equal sections to give me tenths. So already I've got 3/5 coloured in. I need to add 7/10. So far I've got 6/10, and I'm going to add 7/10, but I've only got 4/10 left. So I'm going to have another bar as well. So 3/5 plus 7/10 equals how many tenths altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So my answer is 13/10. You might recognise that 10/10 is the same as 1. So my answer is actually greater than 1 because I've had to use more than 1 bar. What is 13 divided by 10? It's 1 whole one and 3/10 left over. Well done if you got 1 and 3/10. Now let's have a look at these ones. We've got 2/3 plus 4/9 to start with. So I'll do the first one for you. 2/3 is this. We've got to add on 4/9. So let's split these thirds into ninths. Let's put 9 equal pieces. So here are our 2/3. That's the same as 6/9. We need to add on 4 more ninths. So 1, 2, 3, and look, I've run out of room, so we need to have another bar that's split into ninths. I need 1 more ninth coloured in. So that's 9/9 plus 1 more ninth, and that's the same as 10/9. 10/9, that's greater than 1 because 9/9 is the same as 1. What is 10 divided by 9? How many 9s go into 10? It's 1 and 1 left over. So it's 1 and 1/9. Now I've got 3/4 plus a half plus 11/12. So I need to draw a bar. I'm going to split it into half. So that is my half. I'm going to draw around my half in red. I then need to look at quarters. If I split halves into half again, I'm going to get quarters. But now I've got 4 equal pieces. And I want 3/4. I'm going to have 3 of those pieces. But look, I now need to add 11/12. I need to split these quarters into 3 pieces each. And that will give me 12 pieces altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've got 12/12, which make 1 whole bar. So let me just mark on my quarters again. That was my half. So that's my quarters. So I've got 3/4 coloured in, which is 9/12. I've got 1/2 coloured in, which is 6/12. So 9/12 plus 6/12. And look, I've run out of room, so I need to draw another bar. Or I can just look at this pattern. 9/12 plus 6/12 plus 11/12. The denominator is the same, so we can just add the numerators. 11 add 6, add 9. 9 and 11 are number bond 20, plus 6. equals 26 twelfths. Now, what's that as a mixed number? 26 divided by 12. How many 12s go into 26? 12, 24. 2 whole ones and 2 left over. So it's 2 and 2 twelfths, which is the same as 2 and 1 sixth, if we simplify it. Now we've got 5 sixths add so many thirds equal 1 and 3 sixths. So really I need to put this into sixths as well. Let's have a look at a bar model which is split into sixths. So here is my 5 sixths. 5 sixths plus what equal 1 and 3 sixths. Okay, so let me have another bar. It's exactly the same. So this is 1 and this is my 3 sixths. So 5 sixths add what makes 1 and 3 sixths? It's going to be 4 sixths. But 4 sixths doesn't fit into our box down here. What is that in thirds? 4 sixths is the same as 2 thirds, because I can divide 4 by 2 and 6 by 2, which makes an equivalent fraction. 5 sixths plus 2 thirds equals 1 and 3 sixths. Well done if you got those right. Now we'll have a go at this one. 5 sixths plus 2 twelfths. Pause the video while you have a go. Okay, so what I can do without having to draw anything now is multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator to find a common denominator, an equivalent fraction. So I know that 6 is a factor of 12, or 12 is a multiple of 6. So I know that I can get this fraction into twelfths. So if I multiply the 6 by 2, I get 12. So I've got to multiply the 5 by 2, because whatever I do to the bottom, I've got to do to the top. So 5 sixths is the same as 10 twelfths. So it's 10 twelfths plus 2 twelfths equals 12 twelfths. And when your numerator and denominator are equal, that is the same as 1 whole one. This is your last slide. I'd like you to have a go at adding the fractions together without drawing any bar models by finding common denominators. I'll do the first one with you. So I need to know what my common denominator could be. Well, thinking about my times tables, if I did my 5 times table, I would get 15. So 15 is a multiple of 5, so I can make both fractions be 15. Got to find an equivalent fraction, so 2 fifths is the same as how many 15ths? What do I multiply the 5 by to get 15? It's 3, isn't it? So I've got to multiply the 2 by 3, and I will get 6. So 2 fifths is the same as 6 15ths. So I'm doing 6 15ths add 7 15ths. So now my denominators are the same, I just need to add my numerators. 6 add 7 is 13, so my answer is 13 15ths. Now pause the video while you try and work out the last 2 questions. Okay, so looking at the denominators here, is there a relationship? Yes. If I did my 6 times table, I would get 24. So I can find an equivalent fraction for 5 sixths so that it's equivalent to a fraction over 24. What do I multiply the 6 by to get 24? I multiply it by 4. So I multiply my 5 by 4 and I get 20. So 5 sixths is the same as 20 24ths. So I can now do 13 24ths add 20 24ths. And I'm going to get 33/24. Now that is an improper fraction. It's bigger than 1. So I'd like to turn it into a mixed number. This line here means divide. So what's 33 divided by 24? How many 24s go into 33? 1 whole one and 9 left over. So it's 1 and 9/24. And the last one. What would my denominator be? What's a multiple of 3, 10 and 30? It is 30, isn't it? So I've got to put them all over a fraction over 30. The last one is already over 30. And I've got to find equivalent fractions. So 2/3 is the same as what fraction over 30? What do I multiply the 3 by to get 30? I multiply by 10. 2 times 10 is 20. So 2/3 is the same as 20/30. What do I multiply my 10 by to get 30? 3. And my 7? 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. 7/10 is the same as 21/30. So now all my fractions are over 30. I can just add my numerators together. 20 add 21 is 41. 41 add 16. 41 add 10 is 51. 51 add 6 is 57. So my answer is 57/30. But I don't want that improper fraction. So what is 57 divided by 30? It's 1 whole one and 27/30. And if I simplify 27/30, I would get 9/10. It's 1 and 9/10. Well done. We'll see you tomorrow for some more work.